And a good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Episode number 349 of the world famous Hit the Ropes radio show. Demetrius Stokes here with you on another beautiful Wednesday night, SummerSlam week. A lot to get into. We got the whole HTR crew here tonight for our broadcast tonight. We got Courtney, we got Shane, we got Darius. Darius will be with us momentarily. But gentlemen, how is it going this evening?
All good, man. Got that wedding going to this weekend, so I was able to shop and buy my clothes. I actually went shopping and found something. I also picked up this neat little number here. You know what I'm saying? Too sweet. So, yeah, man. My day was great. How was yours?
Hey, man. Hey, hit the ropes, baby. It's always a good day when we got the show cracking. Shane, man, are you excited? SummerSlam, NXT TakeOver. We got so much to talk about tonight.
I can't tell you the last time. I think I'm about 5 weeks behind with NXT. So, yeah, you're going to miss me with that conversation.
Bruh, wait a minute. You're
It's
5
funny.
weeks behind, which means you have not seen the debut of maybe the greatest tag team to ever debut in the history of NXT. I'm talking about none other than the Street Profits.
Primetime 2.0?
Right, or Crime Time 2.0, or Harlem Heat, or any other stereotypical
Oh, whatever.
tag team that's come across the annals of professional wrestling. But yeah, man, we got a lot to get into on this week's show. Throughout the show, we're going to be talking SummerSlam, of course. We're going to get predictions from the guys. We're also going to talk about some of the happenings here in the world of professional wrestling. And let's just get started. Let's start right with some, some semi-sad news, which we hope, as Darius joins us here, that we hope will turn out positives. And that's, of course, I'm talking about the health condition surrounding the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. Obviously, most of you, unless you've been sleeping under a rock, haven't heard. Obviously, Ric Flair was rushed to ICU. Reports say that he had colon surgery and is now recovering. Before that surgery, he had to be put into a medically induced coma. So, well wishes and thoughts to the Nature Boy. Anybody got anything to add, or what do you guys think about this? One of the things I noticed on Twitter with the news surrounding Ric Flair, the first report I saw was from TMZ. I know TMZ, they have their sports division, but this was like TMZ.com. Then I saw a report on his health condition on Hot New Hip Hop, and I'm like, wait a minute. Hot New Hip Hop is and they even have been following his recovery and everything that's been going on since he was rushed to the hospital. Does that speak just to the mainstream appeal of maybe not professional wrestling, but just some of the greats? Your Ric Flairs, your Hulk Hogan's, some of the more well-known guys. Is that what we're witnessing here when we see Ric Flair reports on Hot New Hip Hop?
Most definitely. You always will hear, I think it's one, maybe every year, you'll hear like an artist in a song drop like a Ric Flair reference or a Woo or some kind of wrestling reference in general, whether it's Hogan, Macho Man, Stone Cold, The Rock, those big names like you mentioned do transcend and cross over to other entertainment avenue. And I'm not surprised that a hip hop website is gonna mention Ric Flair because of all the times that he might have been mentioned in a rap song, and also it's hot news. You want some clicks to your website, talk about what's hot.
Well, that and the fact that Ric Flair is he's mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Hogan's mainstream. There's certain guys, especially the old guys, that are mainstream, and Flair is one of those guys. Am I surprised that Hot New Hip Hop is covering it? Yes. But I mean, I'm not surprised that TMZ on it, especially because recently TMZ's been like all over WWE. So I'm not surprised because they are like guys like him and Hogan Rock even, they have crossed over to the mainstream. So they're not just wrestlers where just wrestling fans know them, like everybody knows them. So
yeah, definitely. I was listening to a album that I just well, I guess you don't buy albums anymore, and maybe people don't even call them albums anymore. But I was listening to some new music, and I heard a Kane and Undertaker reference in a song. So wrestling and hip hop, I know a lot of people say basketball and hip hop are kind of go together, but maybe it's wrestling and hip hop. But yeah, Ric Flair getting a lot of love from a lot of websites, from a lot of people, and of course we here at Hit the Ropes send our best wishes to the Nature Boy and hope that he gets well soon. Indeed, we hope everything works out. Well, let's go ahead and real quick, we want to jump into, as I said, I'm kind of going to intermingle some of the SummerSlam matches and predictions. I know Shane was like, man, it's like 1 million matches. Do we got to cover every match? But we'll see how we do as we progress through the show. But let's talk about one of the matches on the card here, and this is a Raw offering. Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, and then this could segue into a little Monday Night Raw talk. But Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt. Obviously, I thought once I saw this match was added to the card that we were going to possibly get the Demon King Finn Balor, and it looks like that's the way that it's going to go. How do you guys see this match shaping up? And who do you think's gonna come out on top? We'll start with you, Darius. You've been quiet thus far today, so we'll get your thoughts. Then we'll go to Shane. Then we'll go to Courtney.
Well, it's really hard to get hyped for a Bray Wyatt match right now. I think it's a little bit weird because we're gonna paint Finn Balor's face, and that's the added bonus. That's the flair. That's the sell for this match. 2-3 years ago, okay, we're down with that. Let's go ahead. Oh, we got this demon versus the eater of worlds, but Bray doesn't have the same appeal as he did a couple years ago. So for me, you got Finn Balor, who was a world champion, got injured, and hasn't been projected up into that platform since his return. And then you got a guy who's kind of fallen off. So will it be a good match? Yeah, it'll be a solid match. But as far as a buy-in and the weird blood, I'm sure somebody will speak to, it is just a lot of gimmicks that kind of just don't do it for me.
All right, so I don't know that I heard a pick there. Did you? Do you have a winner in the match? It sounds like first you don't care, but that's okay. But if you had to project a winner, you are projecting whom?
Finn Balor. He'll come back in the paint. It'll be exciting for some, and he'll get the win.
Yeah. So Shane, were you not a fan of the carry? Maybe I'm dating myself here. I don't know if you guys know what carry is.
Version of carry, so.
What was? Oh yeah, that was terrible. The original is way better than that terrible updated version. I can't believe they even remade carry in such poor fashion. But were you not a fan of the carry-esque throwing of blood on
real quick
Balor?
Why would you go so old to carry? Well, I mean, I could at least said you would have gone to WCW and Sting and versus Van Piro getting blood poured on you. You skipped all that. You forgot that even existed, and you just went.
Yeah, I didn't even know that even happened. So that's news to me. So I went to what I know.
YouTube. Go ahead, Shane. Sorry.
I had the YouTube, but go ahead, Shane.
Listen, I was hoping that this wouldn't be filled with a bunch of agreements, because people say that we agree too much on this radio show sometimes, but I didn't whatsoever about this match. I was very happy to hear that we were going to see this on Raw, because then I said, yes, I don't have to worry about this on the pay-per-view. And then that whole blood nonsense happened. And I'm like, why is it that in 2017, I said this to my wife, I'm like, why is it that in 2017 in the WWE, their blood looks worse than it did back in the early 2000s when we were getting bloodbaths from the Brood? Why, with all this technology, with all this chemistry that we have in the modern world, why did that thing look so horrible that Michael Cole had to cover it by saying some acidic, viscous liquid or whatever the heck he said?
God bless Michael Cole.
Listen, I hate it. I don't care for this matchup. You know, the fact that Bray Wyatt won and we're gonna get a repeat and we're gonna see the Demon means that Finn Balor is gonna win. That is my pick for who to win. But I feel this whole Demon thing is just stupid because he puts on the face paint, but it's not like his offensive output changes. He does the same moves. He's just wearing face paint. Let me see the Demon and let me see a darker Finn Balor, and I can say, okay, I can't wait to see the Demon. But I'm still going to see the Sling Blade. I'm still going to see, you know, and all of this stuff. It doesn't change anything. It's just in face paint.
What was that again, Jay?
I need to go get my lights to flicker. Yeah.
That was a very poor, I think, rendition of Finn Balor's entrance.
Yeah,
which is actually a very dope. He actually has a really dope entrance.
Mm-hmm.
But Courtney,
I love it.
Yeah. This is dope. What would you like to add to this? I'm going to just throw. I'm picking Finn Balor too. After Bray got the nod on Raw, I don't see this going any other way. I got Finn Balor in this one. Courtney, what do you got?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I didn't care about this feud 2 weeks ago. I didn't care about it on Raw. I thought the setup to Raw was on Raw was stupid. I agree with Shane. I thought I had the same thoughts. We're having this on Raw. We won't get it on a pay-per-view because I care nothing whatsoever about this feud. And then we get the feud. I mean, we get the blood, which, man, come on, son. No, I don't care about this feud. It does nothing for me. The match on Raw just, kind of pissed me off because it's like, okay, we knew we were going to get Demon Finn anyway. What a lame setup to get Demon Finn. And it's like Shane said, if his offense changed, if he was a different character, it would be one thing. But he's the same guy just wearing face paint. It was cool the first time he did it in NXT. It's just like, yeah, I'll pick the Demon entrance when I'm playing WWE 2K. But other than that, I don't have to see it anymore. It's, like he had a better setup with it with Seth Rollins last year, So
I mean, people like it, man. People love that the whole Demon King and the entrance and everything. So
did you say Demon King or Demon Kane?
No, King.
Okay.
King. Yeah, Demon King. So people like the entrance. People like the character, even though, like you guys said, it's pretty much the same guy. But we'll see how it all turns out. We're unanimous here, which some people aren't going to like, but we're unanimous here with Finn Balor. And let's talk about another match that
that hardly ever happens. Like, usually you're the dissenter. Yeah, you're usually the one that dissents.
Oh, yes, I forgot. I'm sorry. I have to go with the trend of continue to be the negative guy on the show. I picked Bray Wyatt for no other reason than just to be negative. So, no, I'm kidding. But another match that is going to take place at SummerSlam that we got on Raw was the Cruiserweight Championship match between Akira Tozawa and Neville. And we got a shocker on Raw on Monday night. Tozawa is your new WWE Cruiserweight Champion. Say it with me. Ha, ha, ha. He is your new Cruiserweight.
Titus worldwide.
Yeah, I actually like the whole Titus.
I do too.
Brand gimmick thing. Titus O'Neil cannot talk to save his soul. He fumbles over his words like every single week.
But it works though.
But
It
I
works.
like the whole Titus Worldwide thing. It almost harkens you back to like 80s wrestling where you got the guy who kind of has a stable of wrestlers because he's kind of playing the role of, I guess, like a manager type. And then he has, like his stable. I guess right now it's Tozawa, Apollo Crews, and possibly it looks like down the road we're probably going to get Dana Brooke incorporated into that group as well. So it'll be interesting to see. Now, what was interesting on the and I'll circle back to the match on the Raw Fallout when they were celebrating. Sasha Banks was celebrating with them. That would be interesting if they threw her into the whole Titus Worldwide thing. I think that might bring some actual like legitimacy to it because everybody else they got now are kind of, Tozawa is obviously now he's the man at 205, but
I mean, you
Apollo
remember
Crews
Crews being kicked across the ring by Braun Strowman a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he's kind of drifting. But you know what? His personality is coming out, being a part of Titus Worldwide. You're seeing him. You kind of seeing more of his personality. So I do like the little faction they're creating there. But what do you guys think? So I like the fact that Tazawa won the belt because Neville's been champ for a long time.
8 months.
I like the fact. Champ. Yeah, I like the fact that he won. But why not do it at SummerSlam? Why not just wait, the 6 days and give him the payoff at SummerSlam in front of the big crowd? Why have Neville drop the title the Monday preceding SummerSlam on Raw? Courtney.
I think it's because, it's a huge card on SummerSlam. And I think maybe it's because they wanted to give them some time. And if you see on Raw this week, they got time. There's more time than they get on 205 Live. And that was one thing that WWE did this week that I really enjoyed was the fact that Neville and Tozawa actually got time. It wasn't like a 7-8 minute match. They had build up. I think it had like 2 commercial breaks. They need to give these guys time, so people could be more familiar with them. And like in the last 5-6 minutes of that match, the crowd was hot because it was a really good match. And I think the reason why they did it on Raw was, because the SummerSlam crowd was hot. And you want to give, to me, I think Neville's one of their best guys. You want to give one of their best guys some shine. You know what I'm saying? And it got the treatment that it probably wouldn't have got Sunday. So I think that's why they did it. And I enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed the match.
Okay. All right. Darius, you got anything you want to add there?
Yeah, because, the thing is, we've been complaining on this show about the treatment of the 205 Live, and they didn't do anything different in the respect that, a lot of our complaints are, the ropes, the lighting, separating them from the rest of the roster. But so in that respect, nothing changed, but it wasn't on a pre-show. So this wasn't at the pay-per-view, but it wasn't a WrestleMania pre-show match. This was on a show that's going to get, I don't know, Shane may know, 2 million, 3 million followers. I don't know, what they're getting in the ratings nowadays, but the most amount of views, the most amount of eyes, you're not going to see this on their Thursday night special. And you don't get this attention when you have the main event being Brock Lesnar versus 50 other men. So they get the spotlight a little bit here, and the title change created the buzz. It was unexpected. This is what wrestling should be. It should be unexpected. It shouldn't be predictable. I didn't necessarily seeing anybody from Titus Brand winning a title anytime soon because you mentioned there are no marquee players. Sasha Banks has been featured in a lot of videos outside of Raw, and that would bring attention to the brand. Just like when we talked about Bray Wyatt and his crew, they missed having a major star. They had Daniel Bryan for a hot minute, and then it was gone. So I think this helps bring attention because I didn't expect it, and I think it was a good move.
All right. Shane, you got anything you want to add to that?
205 Live people, so no.
It was a good match, man.
It was, but it still doesn't get me into watching 205 Live. I'm just gonna watch Raw for when they show those 205 Live people. I'm okay with not watching those 45 minutes of 205 Live.
Yeah. So with that being said, are we all in agreement that Tazawa retains at SummerSlam, or do we see Neville taking the title back? Do we think that, like you said, this was just to create a buzz and to get people interested in this Cruiserweight Championship match, only to see the belt go back on really the only guy that, brings any type of well, now Tozawa does. He brings some charisma and some character to the ring. But Neville has really been the bell cow of the Cruiserweight division. He's really been, one of the best heels that they've had just overall in WWE, period. So do we see this as just hey, we got your attention, now we're going to put the belt back on our guy? Or do we see Tazawa actually winning this match?
I think Tozawa retains. I think it would be a little stupid for them to just, put the belt on him and then yank it right off, because then, who's Neville going to feud with? Are they going to feud again and then, give the belt back to Tozawa 2 weeks later, So I think I hope that they took the belt off of Neville to push him, further up the card. I don't think that's going to happen, but a guy can hope. So I'm picking Tozawa to retain.
I'm going to go with Tozawa.
Yep, and we're unanimous.
Well, we're not.
Uh-oh.
Because I'm going to take Neville.
There's always one.
There's always one. I'm going to take Neville. I think it was just a ploy to get some attention onto the division. I think Neville's going to retain, and then they're going to further this feud that he has going on with Tozawa. I mean, obviously, now that I think about it, though, no, I'm going to stick with the Neville pick. Guys will say, now that I think about it, the Titus brand they're trying to build that up. So, taking the belt off Tazawa probably wouldn't be a good look for the brand, but I'm going to go with that right now. I'm going to go with my gut and say Neville retained. So,
and just an aside about the Titus brand, because look, we be
aside. Yeah. Oh, fancy.
Hey, get my Stephen A on. So, we bemoan the WWE about not,
aside and bemoan.
Hey, you got a thesaurus on there.
All right,
you got a thesaurus on another tab right now.
This brother was reading a dictionary before we came on the broadcast.
And before he on thesaurus.com right now.
All right, so we we get on WWE a lot about how they don't use people correctly. And how they kind of just waste guys. But I think if you look what they're doing with Titus, taking him out of the ring, realizing that although he does stumble and fumble over his words a lot, he is a pretty good talker. He's a hype man, and he's very charismatic. He's always smiling. So they put him. I think the role they have Titus in is kind of like the role they should put some other guys in, like particularly Enzo Amore. But I don't want to get to him if we're going to talk about him later. But I think they're doing a good job of utilizing Titus, who if it wasn't for this Titus Worldwide brand, he probably wouldn't even be on TV. So bravo. I'm going to give them some credit.
I think it's the longest we've ever talked about cruiserweights.
It's a record. We're breaking a record. Hey, but they are doing something good. So let's give credit where credit is due. Now let's shift over to SmackDown, because something big happened. Well, there was something semi-big before we switched to SmackDown. There was something, I guess, semi-big that happened on Raw, in addition to Tazawa winning the Cruiserweight title. we saw the tease finally come to fruition, which is the kind of the mini Shield reunion. I guess the two of three original members of the Shield coming back together. This, of course, leads into what many think will be I don't know if they've made that official. I don't see this on the SummerSlam card, but
yeah, Kurt Angle made it official on Raw Monday.
He did. Okay, so this is maybe this is an old card I'm looking at. So it is official that Rollins and Ambrose will challenge Cesaro and Sheamus for the Raw Tag Team Championship. So I guess that's official. Excited about this reunion? Not so excited. Do they win the tag titles? What are your thoughts on this, guys?
Man, am I the only one that feels that this is still a setup for one to turn on the other? I'm not confident with it right now. I can't fully get behind it. I can't invest in it because I feel something shady is going to happen really soon. So the only thing is, the double-edged sword where you have somebody who's been a champion for a good amount of time, and you need that to establish credibility for a title. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, I mean, they've been champion forever. Time to switch things up already. And that's the kind of feeling I have. We've got the Shield, who aren't fully the Shield because there's no Roman Reigns yet, and they're fresh and they're new again. But I'm not very confident in them staying together. So I think one of them is going to screw the other and cause Sheamus and Cesaro to retain. So I'm going to pick Sheamus and Cesaro here because of the stability. I'm nervous. I'm paranoid. I don't really know what's going on with these guys.
Well, my kids were excited. Like my kids hit the roof when, they finally hit what was the longest drawn out fist bump in the history of all fist bumps. I have the same feeling Darius has. I'm a little uneasy. I think one of them is going to turn on the other. I don't want to say, who yet. I can't say who yet. I still don't like Dean Ambrose. I don't know, man. It's not like Finn Balor and Bray Wyatt where I don't have any feelings about it. I actually, I have a feeling that somebody's going to get screwed, but I have a feeling that Dean and Seth are going to win the champion because it's almost like they drew out the fist bump so long they have to put the belts on. That's how it feels to me. But I don't really care either way.
I just think that obviously if somebody were to turn, it probably would be Ambrose, just to kind of it'd be a reverse of what happened between the two of them. When Rollins turned on Reigns and Ambrose. I just don't see that happening this soon. Like they just are reuniting. I don't see it happening. Not at SummerSlam at least. So
it gives them both something to do because they've kind of been languishing the last.
Being a tag team together gives them something to do.
Right.
Like being a tag team. Oh, I thought you meant like if one turned on the other, feuding against each other would give them something to do.
No, I'm saying both of them would, but no, I was saying them being a tag team gives them something to do.
Right. Okay, I agree with that. So it gives them something to do. Do they win at SummerSlam? I'm like 60-40 on this. I'm gonna say they win the titles. They're the new tag team champs come SummerSlam.
I'm thinking that they win. Just like you said, Mac, they need something to do. Being tag team champions is something to do. We saw that we had the odd pairing of Sheamus and Cesaro, who finally gelled and became tag team champions. So I feel that the Shield reunion that we're getting right now with Ambrose and Rollins is going to give these guys something to do. and it's two big names who are in the tag team mix. So it gives a little bit more focus to the tag teams on Raw. If you look at the names on the on the Raw side with the tag team, these are some pretty big names now. You have Sheamus and Cesaro. You have the Hardy Boys. And now you're going to have Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Those three teams right there, those are all guys who are also main event talent. And then you throw in the Carl Andersons and the Luke Gallows and the Revival when they're fully healed. You have 5 good teams to feud over the tag team titles. So it's kind of like back in the day when we were having the TLC matches and everything. So I'm happy for the tag team division because of this, and we don't have to see Dean Ambrose versus The Miz.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so we'll see how everything turns out in the tag team title match for Raw. Unanimous here. Ambrose and Rollins win the belts.
That's what I think. I heard somebody say.
I think I would. Yeah, I would.
Yes,
Cesaro.
no, yeah.
Derek says Cesaro and Sheamus. Okay, sorry.
Derek chose the bar.
Okay, he went with the bar. All right, so little news here that came out I think yesterday that was reported, and Darius, I know maybe this is one of your guys. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna throw this ball in your court first. Adam Cole, it is official.
You gotta say Adam Cole,
Adam Cole, baby.
I'm sorry, Adam Cole, baby, is officially signed with the WWE, according to some reports. I know it's been rumored for a long time. It looks like it finally has happened. Darius, what do you project Adam Cole's future to be? If you could project his future in the WWE, what do you project it to be? Is he an NXT guy to start? Does he come to the main roster a la Kanellis, or does he, or how is it all going to work out for him?
Well, from all indications and the rumors, they would have you to believe he's NXT bound. My question is, how can we continue to bring these guys in and ignore their past? Meaning, these are all Bullet Club guys. Can we just accept it already? Can we just, as I see this T-shirt being, branded by the Mac over here, if you look at your lower thirds of your screen, but
too sweet.
Let's just accept it. Let's have them. If you want to put them all under, if you need the brand, put them all under the Balor Club. Let's go ahead and embrace this. Let's get this takeover. And have the Balor Club take over wrestling. Even if you want to put him in NXT, that's fine, and still do this massive takeover and have someone on every platform as champion. AJ Styles SmackDown, Balor Raw, Adam Cole Bebe, and NXT. It would actually be amazing. It would be something so refreshing. I mean, even though we've seen similar things, but maybe not even to this degree, because the NWO tried to get their own show, but the NWO pay-per-view NWO Sold Out was so poor. It was sorely poorly done. It couldn't accomplish. So they could do something that hasn't really been seen in wrestling.
You stole a little bit of my thunder, man. I was going to say that it would be cool to have some representation on each brand and kind of be like a little takeover. I love that idea. Do any of you guys have anything to add on Adam Cole, baby, joining WWE? I mean, is this guy, is he Sami Zayn? Is he a perennial mid-carder? Is he, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor, AJ Styles, is he a guy that comes in and works his way to the top. What do you guys think? I don't know much about the guy, so I'm leaning on your expertise here when it comes to one Adam Cole, baby.
Well, he can wrestle and he has personality, so I think that already puts him over Sami Zayn.
Oh, wait.
Sami doesn't have any personality, okay?
Wait, Sami Zayn can wrestle, man.
Yes, I'm not saying Sami can't wrestle, but I said he can wrestle and he has a personality.
Sami has personality.
He's like, what? Walking around, getting lost backstage is his personality?
He's a goofball. That's his personality. He's a goofball.
Yeah.
It's better than Apollo Crews.
He's got more personality than Cruz.
Yeah,
but that's
does.
not saying much.
Wait a minute. Cruz is coming out of his shell, man. You got to watch some of those Titus Brand press conferences. He's coming out of his shell a little bit. He may be clipping Sami Zayn. Sami may have him now, but it's only by this much.
They're big stars that the WWE can have for the future. That's my thought.
Okay. I thought I lost you guys for a minute. It was like
me too.
I had to restart my internet. I thought it was me.
Oh, okay. I'm like, where did everybody go? And
I kept talking. So
yeah, okay. So I don't know. I was talking. I thought everybody was gone, so I was trying to update everybody, but looks like we're all squared away here. So Adam Cole.
Shout out to Hot Dog in the chat room. We finally got somebody chatting in the chat room.
Yeah. So shout out to Hot Dog in the chat room. Shout out to Adam Cole, baby, for signing with WWE. We look forward to great things. So let's shift gears real quick to SmackDown. And the big big news that came out of SmackDown. Obviously, the main event of SmackDown on what am I trying to say? On Tuesday night was John Cena versus Jinder Mahal. This was a non-title match, if I'm not mistaken. And what we had at the end of the match was something I did not expect. Baron Corbin, or as I like to call him, Boring Corbin.
Hold on. Before you talk about that, you have to announce that Jinder Mahal kicked out of not one, but two attitude adjustments. All hail the Maharaja.
Okay, join the club. Everybody's kicking out of attitude adjustments these days. He ain't doing nothing new. Everybody's kicking out of attitude adjustments. So no, I don't give the Maharaja any type of props or respect for kicking out of one of the weakest moves anyway in professional wrestling. It's a freaking what is the actual move called? Isn't it like a fireman's carry? It's a fireman's carry slam. It's a horrible finisher. But whatever. I digress. Cena has made it do what it do, so I'm not gonna hate. So Baron Corbin, Boring Corbin, or as our homeboy AKD likes to often say about him on Twitter, he is steak without the seasoning. He says that all the time. But Baron Corbin unsuccessfully cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase. Distraction from John Cena causes him to get rolled up by Jinder Mahal, and Jinder Mahal retains the title. What did you guys think about that ending? Yet again, you want to bring some of these bigger things to the weekday shows to kind of get viewers and get people into it and get people watching. But wouldn't we have been better served to see Baron Corbin maybe cash in unsuccessfully at SummerSlam? Why the Tuesday night before SummerSlam? Why?
I think because it kind of gives gives you the feeling that Jinder may be safe, that his title may be safe. You know, he escaped with the mighty roll up of doom, with his title. So I think they did it to like make you believe that Jinder's title is safe, when in all actuality they're gonna, give it to Nakamura.
Shane is Dikembe Mutomboing you right now, Courtney. Shane, what do you got?
First off, I'm very happy that Corbin lost.
So am I.
Interestingly enough, there have been two guys who've cashed in and lost. Aren't those the two guys who are going to fight each other at SummerSlam?
No, it's been three guys. Because remember, it's Cena, Sandow, and Baron Corbin.
Oh, I tend to forget about
Sandow.
Yes.
I tend to forget about Sandow. And and not Michael Cole, but whoever the hell said it on Tuesday night also only mentioned it being two. So I guess because Sandow is no longer with the company, they were like, he doesn't exist. All right, so I just find it kind of funny that Cena and Corbin have cashed in and lost, and now they're going to wrestle each other. But that's not my main point. You brought up that they want us to feel that Jinder Mahal is safe now. I think this was, let's give, Jinder lost to Randy Orton last week. He narrowly escaped John Cena this week, but he got a roll-up victory, when his title was this close to slipping away from him. So it's like, okay, we gave Jinder one last big win, because when he faces Nakamura at SummerSlam, I don't expect Jinder to come out with the title. So I see Jinder now as more vulnerable to lose the title, because they took away the whole Baron Corbin possibly interfering and Jinder still finding a way to escape. Now I think because we're going to see a one-on-one match, or as much of one-on-one as we can get with the Singh brothers, I think Nakamura finds a way to leave the biggest party of the summer with the title.
Hot Dog in the chat room makes an interesting point that John Cena was stupid in distracting Baron Corbin because he cost himself a title match at Corbin won. But there you go, thinking logically, and we know that is not what we do when we talk about WWE. I don't know if Nakamura is ready for the stage yet, man. I should say the stage. I don't know if he's ready to be champion.
You didn't think Jinder was either, he's
not. He's not.
But he is.
He's not.
Okay, here's the thing. Like,
he sucked as champion. Sorry.
First of all, he's like the greatest Indian champion of all time. So
God, him and Khali. Boy. Oh my God. He really had to do a lot to outshine old Khali.
Hey man. Whatever.
Go ahead.
Secondly, I think them putting the title on Nakamura this fast would be, I think it's reactionary to the fact that he hasn't looked good in his last couple matches over the past like 2 months. And I think it's just a rush to put the title on him. I think Jinder should retain. I hope Jinder retains so we can have another month of the greatest champion in WWE history. All hail the Maharaja.
Oh my God, you sound crazy. I do think that Jinder is going to retain. I hope Nakamura wins, but I think Jinder's going to retain. I don't have anything else to add to that. Darius, what you got?
Well, I thought it was interesting that they didn't use the Singh brothers for the cash-in save there, and it's kind of weird. Cena jumps on the apron, but you would think he would just, he being Baron Corbin, he would just rush over and forget about him and just go ahead and hit him with a boot or whatever his whirly-turly finisher is and get the pin and call it a day and not even worry about Cena at that point. But here's the truth, though. He was never deserving of a world title anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Why he had the briefcase to the start, it goes back to minus Cena, the other guy that lost his chance, and also King Kennedy, who had his chance, who put his briefcase up on the line in a random event and lost it. So I mean, none of those guys were ready when they won the briefcase, and I didn't really expect any of them to go on to be champion. Definitely didn't think Baron Corbin. Now Jinder Mahal makes, maybe that's possible, but I think that's as Stokes says, I don't think he's ready at this point. I think that's proof positive that you don't go ahead and follow that reign up with someone else who is also not ready for the spotlight. So, him losing was a good thing, and it just allows him to go back to his rightful spot. He is not a main eventer and shouldn't be treated as such at this point in his career.
So the rumor was, I read this earlier. So the rumor is that they are still high on Corbin, but because he hasn't looked good in his verbal battles with John Cena, that's the reason why they put why they put the halt on him. But I have to ask you guys this, and I know this is kind of like an aside. Like, what has Jinder done?
His favorite word today.
What has Jinder done to make you guys feel like he doesn't deserve? Is it because he came out of nowhere? Because that's the only thing.
All of you guys are gender supporters. I'm the one that doesn't support gender equality.
Right. So, like, I think.
I mean, gender with a J.
I think
I'm all,
to me, you had AJ Styles and Kevin Owens in a feud, with each other for the U.S. title. Who else was going to challenge Boring Orton for the title? Bring in a guy who looks good, who can talk, who has hopefully, potentially 1 billion fans behind him. Why not? And I think
Jinder. Can we please stop with the 1 billion fans behind?
I think Jinder has done admirable in this role as champion.
Nobody cares about that. Indian people aren't coming to WWE events until they go to India.
Because you got to think.
That's not true. Aziz Ansari. What's his name?
One Indian dude is coming to WWE.
The White Castle dude, I forget his name.
Cal Penn.
You talking about Harold and Kumar? Okay, yes. Kumar and whatever the other guy's name is.
Kumar.
Comes to two dudes come to WWE events in the United States.
I'm about to write an article on the VC on you right now.
I know right now. Please check out the VC.com, by the way. Cheap plug. But all I'm saying is, look, Jinder, he hasn't done anything exceptional. Like, he hasn't done anything like terrible either, but he's on the same level. In all honesty, he's on the same level as Baron Corbin.
No, he's not. He's a better worker than Corbin, and he can talk better than
Corbin.
That's true.
You would put the title on Baron Corbin, and it would be the same thing. It would be like the same dude.
No, it wouldn't.
They're, like my man AKD says, they're both steak without the seasoning.
Because here's the thing: at least Jinder can cut a good promo. You know what I'm saying?
To his credit, no, he talks in the same like tone and scowl. He's angry, that all the time. He has the same scowl and tone. And to his credit, he has elevated his game some. But when I say he's elevated his game some, I'm talking about from a guy who used to be like a lower mid-carder, a guy who used to be an afterthought, a guy for God's sakes was in 3 freaking MB, one of the worst factions ever assembled in WWE history. And he's gone from that, and he's taking it up a notch.
Listen.
But that notch is not world champion material.
Hey, let's be honest, Stokes. Come SummerSlam, Jinder Mahal will also be the longest reigning heavyweight champion from India of all time. Come Sunday. Come Sunday.
Oh.
History to make, baby.
History to frickin' do.
What? History.
Whoop-de-doo. Okay, all right. Well, I think we got two Nakamura picks. Shane, you picked Nakamura, right?
Yeah.
We got two Nakamura picks and we got two Jinder picks. And I actually am one of the people that picked Jinder. Although I'm saying, he sucks, but hey, more power to him. Jinder Mahal retains. I think everybody's happy that Baron Corbin didn't cash in and win, so that's a good thing. So I think we're all cool with that. So what about AJ Styles and Kevin Owens? Shane McMahon is a special guest referee. I was thinking that we were going to see some type of turn from Shane, like Shane showing some type of allegiance to. I thought it would be Kevin Owens. I thought this would be like, oh, this is me finally getting my revenge on AJ Styles for him beating me at WrestleMania. So I aligned myself with Kevin Owens. I cost AJ the United States title. That's kind of how I was leaning, but now I don't know. Now I don't know. I'm not sure. But for right now, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to say the U.S. title's been bouncing around between Kevin Owens and AJ Styles for a minute. Chris Jericho could probably be thrown in there too when he was around. But I'm going to go with Kevin Owens getting an assist from Shane McMahon and winning the United States title back. How do you guys see this match playing out? Could it be best match on the card? I think it has the potential to be a phenomenal, no pun intended, match. I think it could be very good. They've had some good matches throughout the weeks here. So I'm expecting them to turn up a notch at SummerSlam. AJ Styles is becoming Mr. SummerSlam. I'm going to give him that nickname, Mr. SummerSlam, because he put on a show last year with it was Cena, right? He wrestled Cena. Was it 2 years ago or was it last year that he wrestled Cena? Last year. Yeah, so he's putting on a show at SummerSlam. So we'll see. But what do you guys think? Does AJ retain? Does KO walk out with the belt?
I was kind of leaning to where you were going, and I think we're gonna have a Shane heel turn, and Kevin Owens is gonna walk out with the belt. But you know what? I got to be honest. Although I like Kevin Owens, I love AJ Styles, they haven't really done anything to get me interested in their match on Sunday, So,
really?
Yeah, really, man. They just haven't done anything to get me. Like, I'm more interested in the tag team championship match and, Jinder Nakamura than I am AJ and Kevin Owens. And because they haven't done anything. Other than involve Shane McMahon. And they both hit Shane McMahon. So, but I'm going to go Kevin Owens.
I agree. I'm right there with Courtney. I don't feel that this feud has done it for me where it's gotten me fully invested. They haven't really got like this animosity, this true animosity between these two to make this a really compelling feud. And though the match might be good, the match would be better if we did not have the foretold involvement of Shane McMahon. Shane being there is going to take away some of the match quality because he's going to be involved somehow, some way. If this was an AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens, where they're like at some indie show and they just have no restraints, that this match would be a phenomenally awesome, amazing match. But we're in the WWE, and we have the involvement of Shane McMahon, who I feel is going to come out of this pay-per-view feuding with Kevin Owens. So I'm going to go with AJ Styles to win.
Am I the only one that feels that if it is an angry, I'm going to destroy your heart and soul Kevin Owens is just not worth tuning into. That's kind of how I've kind of felt on Kevin Owens. He's really got to be vicious and just, you know, breaking your back over the side of the apron to kind of elicit a response from me. So, and that's not the Kevin Owens we've gotten so far in this feud. So without that anger and that passion, I think Kevin's is just okay. Kind of reminds me of like a old school UFC version of Tank Abbott, you know, that guy that just, you know, walks out of the bar and rolls into the ring. He's okay. But that's why it hasn't done for me. I have to see the angry Kevin Owens to really get behind him. He hasn't showed me anything else.
All right. So with that, you're picking AJ Styles.
I am.
Okay. All right. So we got 2 for AJ, 2 for KO. We're split here. As we're getting close to the end of the broadcast, I just want to cover, obviously, some of the more important matches, or the larger matches. I shouldn't say important, but the larger matches here. Let's go real quick, guys. Give me your thoughts on the SmackDown Tag Team title match and the women's title match. We got Naomi and Natalya going at it for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We got the Usos versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. How do we think those matches turn out? Don't all talk at once, fellas. Don't all talk at once.
I'm perplexed with the tag titles. I don't know. I think because the Usos won on SmackDown, then conventional wrestling wisdom would then say that the New Day would win on Sunday. So I'm going to go with that because that tends to be how it usually rolls. I don't see Naomi losing. I don't see Naomi losing her match. And did you also mention the Raw one as well?
We can. Go ahead. We can throw that one in.
Alexa Bliss better not lose.
Okay. She better not lose. Okay. All right, Courtney.
Well, it's weird when it comes to the tag team titles on SmackDown, because if you look at the two teams, it's like the roles are reversed. The Usos are like red hot right now. Like their gimmick is like top notch. And it's like the New Day is just kind of like the New Day. It seems like since they've gotten a SmackDown, they've kind of toned their act down a little bit. I think if they were smart, they put the titles back on the Usos and ride the wave just because they're hot. And they don't have really any other tag teams to feud with. You know what I'm saying? And it will just go to show how evenly matched the two teams are. So I'm going for them to put the belts back on the Usos. I don't see how it's anyway. Natalya walks out of SummerSlam as the SmackDown Women's Champ. I actually, excuse me, I like Naomi as champ, and you know, they haven't really built up like a credible challenger to her because, you know, Charlotte's a babyface. So I'm picking Naomi. And I feel the way I feel about Sasha Banks is weird because she can wrestle, and I acknowledge that she can wrestle. I don't like her as a babyface. But I also like Alexa Bliss as the champion more. But, you know, they did a good job of showing Sasha being a plucky little underdog, you know, against, you know, the bigger opponent. But now you got two evenly matched, evenly sized women. You know, how is that going to work? So I'm going to pick begrudgingly that they put the belt back on Sasha Banks.
Man, Alexa Bliss is where it's at on Raw. We could go ahead.
I think we lost Terrence there. He was getting ready to say Alexa Bliss is where it's at Raw. I'm pretty sure he was going to say we can go ahead and pick Alexa Bliss to win the belt or to retain the title. I think that was going to be his pick. I don't know where he's going to go with the other ones, but I'm going to say the New Day retains the tag titles, and I'm also going to say I'm going to go New Day.
Oh, Darius is unfrozen. Darius is unfrozen.
Yes, he is unfrozen. And then I'll jump back to him. One of the women's titles is going to change hands. One of them. I just don't know which one. So I'm going to go with Natalya to finally get over the hump, beat Naomi, win the SmackDown title, and then I have Alexa Bliss retaining. Darius, what were your picks? I think we got Alexa Bliss was one.
Okay. So we'll go from there, and I'll start off or pick up with the women on SmackDown. How fitting would it be? We know that she held the butterfly belt so long ago, but how fitting would it be now that Tyson Kidd is on the road if he were to rush out and celebrate with her as she finally captured the women's championship? It would kind of add some personality to things, because I know someone, I think it might have been Courtney or someone on here said, outside of her uncle being Brett, that might have been Shane. That sounds like something Shane would say. Outside of Brett being her uncle, and we don't even talk about her father being a wrestler, what is there to her? But there is something, I think there's a bit of I follow her on Twitter. I see the reactions she gets on Twitter, and I think there would be something to her finally getting that victory. And the only thing is, we just got the glowing belt. The WWE just paid to get that belt glowing. I don't know, is it for sale? I don't know if you guys know if it's for sale right now, but if it isn't, I'm sure it's only a matter of time. So, how do you go ahead and lose that possible money maker over the pulling on the heartstrings? So that makes it skeptical that she's going to win, but I'm going to go ahead and still I'm going to go with Natty. I'm going to go with the pick from the heart. I'm going to go Natty for the win. And then you got the Usos, you got the New Day. I mean, I'm still mad I haven't got my ice cream bars yet. I'm still mad at that. They came out with the cart every week, teasing that they ain't pull nothing out that ice cream cart. So I'm still mad at that. None of that, they're lame. I like the news. I like the Usos. So I hope the Usos retain their tag titles come Sunday. And they're hot right now, as Courtney said. Let's go ahead and ride that wave. But who else are they gonna feud with? Maybe those young young Hardy boys, and I'm not talking about Matt and Jeff. I'm talking about them detectives. Maybe they maybe the young detectives finally get a little push. Y'all know how I feel about them, but let's go ahead and I'm all what's hot. People love them, so let's go ahead and get those dancing fools up in the mix here. Did we lose Stokes? Stokes went ahead and took a bathroom break.
Apparently his baby's going nuts. So while we wait for Stokes to come back, I'm going to segue into Max Minute, okay?
Oh, buddy.
All right.
We almost made it.
Yeah, almost. Close, but no cigar. So y'all see I went out. I'm repping the Bullet Club worldwide.
Whoa, question. Before you go to, where does one get a Bullet Club? Did you fly to Japan to get this said Bullet Club show? Did you go to a bingo hall, to an ROH show where maybe one Kenny Omega makes his small appearance? Did you go to Spencer's or whatever store?
I went to Hot Topic, Darius.
Hot Topic.
And I still has the Hot Topic tag on it right there. You see that Hot Topic?
Is that because you're going to be returning it very soon? Is that why the tag's still on it?
I just bought it today, like an hour ago. So I wanted to get a Kenny Omega shirt, but they didn't have my size. That was the only one in a 2X. Yeah. So got to take some time to give a big shout out to New Japan Pro Wrestling. The G1 finals was this past weekend, the finals and semifinals, and we had yet another 2, not just 1, but 2 Kenny Omega masterpieces. Look, man, I've told y'all on here that he's my favorite wrestler right now. In the wrestling ring, the guy can do no wrong, in my opinion. I think his trilogy and his feud with Okada are eclipse Steamboat Flair by a mile. Okay,
watch it.
Nope, it's not even close. It's not even close. And in the semifinals, he and Okada had their shortest match, and he actually finally got one over on Okada, hitting the one wing angel. And it was only the second time he was able to get his finisher off on Okada. So he advanced to the finals against Tetsuya Naito, who had a very entertaining match with Tanahashi. I mean, look, man, the top guys in New Japan can tear the house down, all right? I will say that still my favorite Kenny Omega Kazuchika Okada match is number 1. But then the match with between Naito and Kenny Omega for the G1 championship was, now I said Okada Omega 1 was my favorite match of the year, and I do think still that if you watch that match, it will change your life. But man, this Naito Kenny Omega match was something else, man. It was, look, I gotta be honest. There's nobody in WWE on that level with the other than AJ Styles. That's my opinion. Nobody in WWE right now can have a match as good as one of those 3, and I'm talking about Omega, Okada, Naito in WWE, except for AJ Styles. We know AJ is the best wrestler in WWE, but no match in WWE this year can come close to the 3 Omega Okada matches. And if you're not watching New Japan, you hustling backwards, man, especially if you're a wrestling fan. Look, man, if you forget all the storylines, you got storylines. You got storylines in New Japan. Naito trying to win the G1 again. He won it first in 2013.
Forget storylines. You got storylines. So, but if you got storylines and I'm supposed to forget storylines, who cares?
Shane, I'm on a roll, man. I'm on a roll. Okay. So look, man, you got Naito trying to get back, trying to claw his way up to the championship. He feels like he's been overlooked. He won the G1 in 2013. Did he get a championship match? He did, but it was not the main event, and he lost, and he was upset. So what happened when he won the Intercontinental title? He felt like New Japan wasn't respecting him, so he disrespected the title. And then you got Kenny Omega, Kazuchika Okada, the best wrestling feud in wrestling history, the best trilogy of matches in wrestling history. Okada has beaten Omega. Omega can't get that W. Well, Kenny Omega finally clawed and climbed and scraped his way to the mountaintop. Now, he didn't beat him for the championship, but he did finally get that W over Kazuchika Okada, a battered Kazuchika Okada, but he beat Okada nonetheless. So, like I said, if you're not watching New Japan and the best wrestling on the planet right now, how can you possibly call yourself a wrestling fan? You hustling backwards. And that's Mac Minute.
Well, I'll be honest. You were spewing a lot of lightning things there, educating us about it. Shane, I now know what it feels like when I used to do the MMA Minute back in the day, where you guys just didn't know what was going on. You guys just weren't paying attention. You guys were on, trying to get your Twitter accounts up. I know what you feel like. But the Mac Minute, bringing you everything from the other side of the ocean, that's all right with me. You know what else is all right with me? Everybody hitting the subscribe button. That's okay with me, because we want you to know when these shows are coming out. and popping out. So if you go ahead and hit the like button and then hit the subscribe button, we will greatly appreciate it. You know what else is
And then also, not only you hit that subscribe button, but you hit that bell so you can be alerted whenever we post something. You'll be the first in the comments.
First in the comments. We like that. We're okay with that. We also okay with you heading over to thevc.com. We are sponsored by thevc.com. Yes. And we want you to read them articles, comment on those articles. More importantly, share those articles. Share them on your Facebook. Share them on your Twitter account. If you still got Google+, thevc.com can be shared on Google+ as well. Ready? All that good stuff. We want you to tune in each and every day to see all the new articles. Stokes is gone. Shane is leaving. Courtney's out. And I'm out too. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Wait. So wait a minute. We still have the main event, which I think is actually going to be the best match on the card.
Okay, so we not out. What?
You see how many matches are on this dang thing that we did all of that and we forgot about the freaking Universal Championship match?
What? Okay, Courtney, tell us about the main event.
The main event of SummerSlam. You got the Beast, Brock Lesnar. You've got the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. You got Roman Reigns, the man who retired The Undertaker. And then you have, what do they call it? The monster among men, Braun Strowman, who, you know what? Behind Okada Omega, him and Roman Reigns' feud has been the second best in all of wrestling this year, in my opinion. And they've had some help, man. They put on hell of a matches. Especially Roman getting that chair tossed at him last week. I thought it was funny, but I also thought it was awesome. And they put on a different kind of match than Omega and Okada, where there's just two brutes trying to just brutally destroy each other and beat each other down. So who wins? Paul Heyman said that if Brock Lesnar loses the belt, he's leaving. We can't have Brock leave, can we? Huh? Can we?
Where is Brock going? His contract don't expire until next year.
Exactly. And I don't think Brock's really itching to jump into a fight with Johnny Bones Jones, who's the baddest man on the planet. So I am going to pick Brock Lesnar to retain his Universal title by pinning Samoa Joe. That's important. I think he's going to retain by pinning Samoa Joe.
I don't agree. I don't agree. Go ahead, Darius. I don't agree though.
I don't agree either. I mean, it could happen, but I don't agree because I'm going to stick to my prediction that he is going to get pinned. And maybe he'll go fight John Jones in the UFC, but he's got to enter 6 months worth of testing to do so.
Well, he has 5 months left. So
I've got to check the records. I don't know that he's officially entered yet, and come off his thing. So let's go ahead and let's keep it realistic that even if he loses, Paul Heyman's just talking that smack. He's just trying to draw up some interest. He's been facing Samoa Joe in these house shows that I'm seeing, and I think there's something to that. So I'm going to go ahead with my original prediction. I'm going to say that Samoa Joe finally gets it done, and he's going to become that new Universal World Heavyweight Champion. And we will see Brock Lesnar yet again try and come back. Now, Braun Strowman could be the reason why, or it could be Roman Reigns. But at the end of the day, someone's getting tapped out, and it's going to be by the hands of the new champion, Samoa Joe.
You're going with Samoa Joe. I feel that Lesnar's losing, especially since he's going to be on Raw on Monday, according to what came out. So I think he's going to be on Raw on Monday, and he's going to be pretty pissed. So I feel that he's going to lose, but I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. I don't know. I would love to see Samoa Joe or Braun instead of Reigns, but I'm going to go with Reigns.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm back. So jumping in here, I'm torn, man. I agree with Shane that I think Brock is going to lose. I'm torn between Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman. I think they're going to wait to WrestleMania for Roman Reigns for whatever reason to get the title. So I was watching this video of the WWE superstars at Yankee Stadium. I don't know if you guys caught this. And they presented my man Judge for the Yankees with a championship belt for winning the home run derby. And so they had 3 representatives there. Well, one was Big Cass. So why he was there, I don't know. But it was Big Cass, who I think has a future. Big Cass, Alexa Bliss, and Braun Strowman. And I don't know why I was going with the hunch because I was Samoa Joe, but I'm going to go with Braun Strowman is going to be the new Universal Champion after SummerSlam. But ask me again on Friday, it might be Samoa Joe. But right now, today, I'm going to pick Braun Strowman.
I think I'm not going to change my pick. I still think Lesnar wins, but I think that as hot as Strowman's been all year, you have to put the belt on him at some point. And I think that this Sunday will be the perfect time to do it because it's 4 people in the match. But I'm still going to stick with my original pick. I think Brock Lesnar's retaining because, it's already been spoiled that he's, going to be on Raw Monday. So,
what does that mean? What does that mean?
After a pay-per-view where he defends his title, it's not really a spoiler. Some people were trying to read into it that they said that he was a Universal Champion, and some people were using that as a spoiler that he's going to be returning. But that doesn't mean. Their social media person.
The article did say, WWE Champion Brock Lesnar will be on.
He's the champion today, right? He's the champion right now.
Okay,
people don't know what's in the creative room.
No, that's true. That's true.
They have no idea.
And we also must remember cards are subject to change.
Absolutely. But
look at that.
Do y'all think? I think it weakens it if Braun Strowman. I think we all agree he should be champion at some point. But if he does it by kind of beating someone in a 4-way match, unless he kills and slaughters the other 3 guys, to me that's a weak move. Because that lessens the champion's chance to retain. I think that's a weaker move. Anybody who wins a title in a 4-way is just kind of like you're padding the current champion so much. I think if Braun wins it, I think it needs to be a straight up 1-on-1 match, or he wipes the floor out of everybody, which could happen too. But I hope he doesn't win and he pins someone other than Brock Lesnar if he's going to win this Sunday.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. Those are our SummerSlam picks. Did I miss the world famous Max Minute? Did I miss that segment?
I think that was a strategic move.
Oh, darn! I missed it. Oh, okay. Man, maybe next time I'm gonna have to go back and listen. Well, we want to thank you guys for listening to episode number 349 of the Hit the Ropes radio show. As we wrap up this episode, be sure to check us out on social media. We're everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, at Hit the Ropes. More importantly, check out the VC.com, VESEY. Check out the VC.com. You see that on the lower thirds of both Darius and Shane. Be sure to check out the VC.com for news, sports, entertainment.
I didn't know y'all strategically set y'all up like that. I would have did that.
So I didn't either. Mine says stuff. So be sure to check.
It's okay that you got self-promote. It's okay.
It's okay. I retweet
Some of us
that.
are team players. Some of us are team players.
Yeah, some of us are. Some of us are all for self.
You are dead.
So Yeah, but be sure to check out the VC.com. We didn't even get into so much stuff to talk about, but I know Saturday for the NXT fans, people are going to really be excited about NXT Brooklyn 3. There's a couple big matches there, right? Ember Moon, Asuka, Drew Galloway, Bobby Roode. So you got a couple. Hopefully the Street Profits get penciled in there. We'll see what happens. But before we sign off here for the evening, guys, do you guys have anything you want to add?
Man, I'm so sick and tired of getting political for a second. I'm so sick and tired of these people that keep coming out talking about as athletes and celebrities, you should just do what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
With the Hugh Jacksons and the Jermichael Finleys and the people.
Oh, man.
Like, you know what? Shut your mouth, because Hugh Jackson would not be a coach right now if it wasn't for people who decided to use their voice and speak up. So you know what? Shut your mouth.
Shout out to Shannon Sharp for keeping it all the way real.
I was not a Shannon Sharp. I wasn't a Shannon Sharp fan back in the day. I wasn't, but I'm loving him. You just talking all the facts right about now, man.
Yep.
Shout out to Shannon Sharp.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's definitely. Go ahead, Dare. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just piggybacking on Shane. It's crazy that you are not supposed to, as an athlete, you have a platform, but you're not supposed to use it. You're only supposed to use it for sports. That to me is crazy. That is why we see Colin Kaepernick having a hard time getting back into football, because he has spoken out not in hate of anything, but in love and fairness, but that's something that people would preach that you should do, but when it's actually done, you have a problem with it, and you're not an expertise, as if there's a degree. I mean, I guess everybody's supposed to get a degree in politics to be able to speak on politics, and not what they're experiencing. But I just wish that people would be about the change that they kind of hope that they can live in, and that they're able to to experience. And my thing is, what do you do about it? We talk about a lot about the problems, but not about what you can do about it. And if you know somebody in your family who is marching with tiki torches in Charlottesville and you don't say anything, to me, you are almost as much as part of the problem. You have to speak up against those people. Someone put on Twitter, those people you are avoiding at family functions. You can't avoid them. You have to address them. That's the only way this society gets better. I can't police your family. It's hard for me. I can speak out against wrong, but you can do much better job. So I just hope that people will go out who are seeing injustice, go ahead and speak out on these injustices. Don't just be a fly on the wall.
And look, man, I haven't said this, but and I'm not like a super patriot or anything, but hey, man, I took the time, I volunteered, I put on the uniform, I pledged my allegiance to the flag, and I just feel like if you or anyone is flying a Confederate flag or flying swastikas, you're treasonous to this country. You're a traitor to this country, and you should be brought up on charges of treason. That's how I feel, and I don't always speak about being I volunteer, but it's just in certain instances it's like we may not all like what the flag stands for, because I surely don't, but it is a symbol, and if you wave in a symbol of the losers, what I'm saying, and people who wanted this country to be ran a certain way that would be only beneficial for one, while causing hate and pain and destruction among others, then you lose it, and you're a traitor to this country. You know, I mean, these guys are Americans first, before they're basketball players, before they're football players, and they're human beings, and they're American. You know what I'm saying? They're human beings first, Americans second, athletes third. So, you know, these guys have a platform. It would be unjust of them to not use it. So go to the VC.com. You know, that's all.
Definitely good commentary. Sometimes the worst thing that you can do is in these type of situations is be indifferent. Like, you know, you kind of know when one person is on one side and the other person's on the other. At least you kind of know where they stand. It's the people that are in the middle that kind of make these situations particularly difficult. So definitely crazy what's going on in our world, in our society. But LeBron James said it best, and I know people have been criticizing him about, you know, his comments that he made, but, you know, hey, love is the uniter, man. So you know, and if you got to care about your fellow man regardless of the color of their skin, if you truly are going to you know, exhibit any type of love in that regard. So good commentary there to close off the show. Real quick, Shane, thanks for the article. Ric Flair's fiance, circling back to that, indicated that he did not have colon surgery. She just said he's having multiple issues with multiple organs. He's still in need of prayer and is still in intensive care. So we'll keep tracking that as things unfold. You know, all the best to Ric Flair, all the best to the people of the entire world, not just the United States. World peace. We need it all over the place. So with that being said, for Darius, for Shane, for Courtney, I'm the Stokester signing off. See you guys next week. Enjoy SummerSlam. Enjoy NXT TakeOver. All of the festivities of the weekend. Have a great night. Peace.
Peace.